Actually, 71 was probably the start of me doing sessions. But then that period where there was, so many where I was really established.
Lee Ritenour, legendary jazz guitarist, has lived a life in music that spans decades, collaborations, and countless iconic performances. But for years, fans and critics alike have wondered about the one particular relationship: his partnership with bassist Nathan East, a fellow founding member of the smooth jazz supergroup Fourplay. Despite sharing stages, recordings, and awards, Ritenour rarely spoke publicly about East, leaving a cloud of curiosity around their dynamic. Now, at 85, he's finally breaking his silence, offering candid reflections on their musical bond, shared triumphs, and personal connection. What did Ritenour reveal after decades of quiet? Stay with us as we explore the story. A lifetime in music and quiet reflection. Lee Ritenour's career reads like a masterclass in jazz guitar. From the moment he first picked up the instrument as a child, it was clear that his path would be extraordinary. Over decades, he's worked with legends including Eric Clapton, Barbra Streisand, Michael Jackson, and countless others. Yet amidst the flash of fame and the roar of concert halls, Ritenour maintained a level of discretion rare in the entertainment industry. He carefully chose what to share, keeping personal and professional relationships largely private. One relationship in particular remained enigmatic: his connection with Nathan East. Both accomplished musicians in their own right, they crossed paths early in Los Angeles' thriving music scene. They collaborated on sessions, recorded tracks, and eventually became founding members of Fourplay, a smooth jazz quartet that would achieve international acclaim. Their chemistry on stage was undeniable, but Ritenour rarely elaborated on the nature of their bond. Fans speculated, journalists inquired, and music historians noted the curious silence surrounding the pair's personal dynamic. Despite the public's curiosity, Ritenour preferred the music to speak for itself. In interviews over the years, he would discuss techniques, influences, and upcoming projects. But questions about East were met with measured, careful responses. Now, decades later, at 85, he has chosen to speak more openly. His reflections reveal the depth of their partnership, not just as colleagues, but as artistic collaborators who shared intuition, trust, and a unique unspoken understanding. For those who have followed Ritenour's career, this revelation is more than gossip. It's a glimpse behind the curtain at the human side of one of jazz's most celebrated collaborations. As we dig deeper into his story, the legacy of Lee Ritenour and Nathan East unfolds, layer by layer. The formation of Fourplay. In 1991, the smooth jazz world witnessed the creation of one of its most iconic ensembles, Fourplay. The group brought together Lee Ritenour on guitar, Nathan East on bass, Bob James on keyboards, and Harvey Mason on drums. Each member was already a virtuoso in his own right, but together they formed a quartet that would redefine the boundaries of contemporary jazz. Their chemistry was immediate, with each player intuitively complementing the other's style, creating a polished yet emotionally resonant sound. Ritenour and East, in particular, developed a musical dialogue that set the tone for Fourplay's signature style. Ritenour's fluid, intricate guitar lines and East's steady, melodically rich bass created a balance that anchored the ensemble. It was more than technical skill. It was a connection forged through years of shared experience in studios, concerts, and session work. Despite this, Ritenour's public commentary on their partnership remained minimal. He rarely discussed the interpersonal dynamics or how their personalities meshed behind the scenes, leaving listeners and critics to speculate. The quartet quickly rose to prominence, releasing albums that were both commercially successful and critically acclaimed. Songs like Between the Sheets and 101 Eastbound showcased the group's effortless cohesion, highlighting moments where Ritenour and East's musical conversation took center stage. Their ability to anticipate and respond to each other in real time became legendary among musicians and fans alike. However, behind the accolades, there was a tension of silence. While Fourplay thrived on public acclaim, Ritenour maintained a personal distance, choosing not to publicly analyze or romanticize his working relationship with East. It wasn't coldness, but discretion, a respect for privacy that allowed their music to stand on its own. Now, decades later, Ritenour's decision to speak about East illuminates not only their professional mastery, but the nuanced human connection that has quietly endured all these years, early encounters and shared beginnings. Long before Fourplay, Lee Ritenour and Nathan East were navigating the vibrant, competitive Los Angeles music scene of the 1960s and 70s. Ritenour, already recognized as a session guitarist prodigy, and East, a bass virtuoso in high demand for recording sessions, frequently crossed paths in studios, jam sessions, and local gigs. Their initial encounters were professional, polite exchanges over chord progressions, rehearsals, and studio etiquette. But beneath the surface, there was a mutual recognition of talent. Both men shared more than technical skill. They possessed a deep musical intuition. Ritenour recalls moments in crowded studios when East's lines seemed to anticipate exactly what he wanted to play, creating seamless improvisational dialogue without words. This unspoken connection became the foundation for what would later be their legendary partnership. Even in the chaos of session work, tight deadlines, multiple producers, and countless takes, the two musicians could synchronize effortlessly, a trait that many industry insiders noticed and quietly admired. Their early collaborations also revealed shared values and work ethic. Both were known for discipline, professionalism, and a commitment to excellence, which helped them navigate the demanding pressures of the music business. While many contemporaries relied on ego or showmanship, Ritenour and East focused on craft, listening intently to each other and enhancing the collective sound rather than seeking individual spotlight. Despite the closeness of their musical rapport, Ritenour rarely spoke publicly about these formative years. He allowed the music to document the story, trusting that listeners would sense the synergy without needing a detailed narrative. It's only now, decades later, that he reflects on how these early encounters weren't just chance meetings. They were the seed of a lifelong creative partnership, one rooted in mutual respect, shared passion, and the quiet understanding that great music often speaks louder than words. The Fourplay era and its musical magic. The formation of Fourplay marked a turning point for both Lee Ritenour and Nathan East. For the first time, their decades of experience coalesced into a single project with global reach. The quartet's debut album, Fourplay, 1991, showcased their ability to merge technical mastery with emotive performance, creating tracks that were both intricate and accessible. Critics praised the interplay between Ritenour's guitar and East's bass as a defining feature, a dialogue that became the backbone of the band's signature sound. During this era, Ritenour and East developed an almost telepathic understanding on stage. In live performances, Ritenour's intricate riffs and East's melodic bass lines often seemed to converse without words. They could anticipate each other's moves, adapting instantly to improvisational changes and spontaneous solos. Fellow band members and session musicians have noted that this synchronicity is rare, a combination of skill, timing, and shared musical intuition that elevates the performance beyond simple collaboration. Off-stage, however, Ritenour remained largely reserved about their personal dynamic. Interviews focused on technique, recording sessions, and the creative process, but rarely on the relationship itself. He maintained a deliberate separation between public persona and private camaraderie, allowing their music to narrate the story. East, similarly, kept his reflections measured, focusing on the collective achievements of the band rather than individual praise. Ritenour's eventual departure from Fourplay in 1997 did not sever the bond, but it shifted the nature of their collaboration. Though their joint appearances became less frequent, the unspoken understanding they had developed endured. The Fourplay era stands as a testament to the power of musical chemistry, a period in which Ritenour and East not only honed their craft, but cultivated a silent, enduring dialogue that would influence jazz for decades to come, the personal dimension behind the partnership. While Fourplay showcased Lee Ritenour and Nathan East's technical brilliance, the personal dimension of their partnership has often remained hidden. Ritenour now reveals that their connection went beyond musical compatibility. It was rooted in mutual respect, trust, and an intuitive understanding of each other's creative instincts. He describes East as not just a colleague, but a musical brother, someone who could anticipate, support, and challenge him in ways few others could. In interviews at 85, Ritenour reflects on countless late-night sessions, studio marathons, and tours, where East's presence provided stability. Even during moments of tension, common in high-pressure artistic environments, their mutual commitment to the music kept conflicts minor and professional. It wasn't always easy. Schedules, personal projects, and external pressures often created friction. Yet, they navigated these challenges with a shared sense of purpose, valuing the integrity of their work above ego. Ritenour also highlights the subtleties of their unspoken communication. During rehearsals, a glance, a nod, or the slightest change in tempo often conveyed as much meaning as words. This nonverbal dialogue enabled them to take musical risks confidently, knowing the other would follow or counterbalance as needed. It's a level of synchronization that takes decades to develop, one that cannot be forced or replicated. Their personal bond extended beyond music as well. Ritenour recalls quiet conversations about family, life in the music industry, and navigating fame with humility. While he remained guarded in public, these private exchanges strengthened the partnership, ensuring that their collaboration was as much about personal connection as professional excellence. This rare insight now sheds light on the foundation of one of jazz's most celebrated collaborations. Ritenour's reflections reveal that the magic of Fourplay and his enduring bond with Nathan East was built not only on skill and timing, but on trust, loyalty, and a profound human understanding that underpinned decades of artistic success. Musical chemistry that defined an era. Lee Ritenour credits much of the enduring success of his partnership with Nathan East to an exceptional musical chemistry that transcended notes on a page. While most collaborations rely on rehearsed parts and predetermined arrangements, Ritenour and East thrived in improvisational spaces, creating moments of magic that felt spontaneous yet perfectly orchestrated. Their contrasting styles, Ritenour's fluid, melodic guitar lines and East's steady, rhythmically intricate bass, merged into a dialogue that defined Fourplay's signature sound. The chemistry wasn't just technical, it was emotional. Ritenour explains that East's playing often mirrored the mood of the moment, capturing subtle shifts in tone and energy. This allowed Ritenour to explore complex solos, confident that East would intuitively support or counterbalance the musical narrative. It's a level of trust rarely achieved, one that allowed them to perform challenging pieces live without hesitation or error. Beyond the stage, this chemistry extended to the studio. On recording sessions, they communicated through gestures, glances, and timing, often finishing each other's musical phrases. Producers noted that their synchronicity reduced the need for extensive retakes, creating sessions that flowed with remarkable efficiency. Yet the underlying factor was not speed, but an almost telepathic understanding of each other's intentions, a bond forged over decades of shared practice, performance, and mutual respect. This unique interplay also influenced the other members of Fourplay. Bob James and Harvey Mason often remarked that Ritenour and East's connection acted as a glue, shaping the group's overall sound and energy. Their unspoken understanding became the foundation for the ensemble, allowing for fluid improvisation while maintaining cohesion. For Ritenour, this chemistry was more than a professional asset. It was a defining element of his musical identity. In reflecting on decades of collaboration with East, he emphasizes that their synergy was not merely about technical skill, but the profound ability to listen, respond, and connect on a deeply human level. The unspoken bond beyond the music. While fans admired Lee Ritenour and Nathan East for their technical mastery, the depth of their unspoken bond has only recently been revealed. Ritenour explains that the true strength of their collaboration wasn't limited to scales, chord progressions, or perfectly timed solos. It was the trust and understanding that allowed them to communicate without words. This silent dialogue, cultivated over decades, enabled them to anticipate each other's intentions in ways that few could replicate. During live performances, this bond became evident. A subtle shift in East's rhythm or a glance across the stage could guide Ritenour's improvisation, creating moments of musical storytelling that felt organic and fluid. Audiences may have seen only a seamless performance, but the reality was a sophisticated exchange of intuition and shared experience. Ritenour emphasizes that it was this unspoken communication that often elevated Fourplay from competent execution to transcendent artistry. Offstage, the bond manifested in mutual respect and loyalty. Both men navigated the pressures of fame, demanding schedules, and creative disagreements with a sense of empathy and understanding. They shared insights about the industry, career challenges, and personal philosophies, creating a partnership that was as much about human connection as it was about music. Ritenour credits these private conversations and mutual guidance as critical in sustaining their professional relationship over decades. Interestingly, despite the closeness, neither Ritenour nor East felt the need to publicly declare their personal connection. They allowed the music to convey their shared understanding, a choice that preserved the mystique of their collaboration while respecting the individuality of each musician. As Ritenour reflects at 85, it becomes clear that their enduring bond is a testament to the power of trust, patience, and silent communication. The story of Lee Ritenour and Nathan East reminds the music world that sometimes the deepest connections are those felt rather than spoken, a principle that defined both their personal and professional lives, legacy, and influence on jazz. Lee Ritenour and Nathan East's partnership has left an indelible mark on the world of jazz. Their collaboration, forged through decades of shared experience, exemplifies the power of musical synergy and mutual understanding. Ritenour reflects that working with East pushed him to explore new musical territories, experiment with improvisation, and refine his approach to both technique and expression. Their dialogue on stage and in the studio became a blueprint for aspiring musicians, illustrating the importance of listening, adapting, and responding in real time. The influence of their partnership extends beyond technical prowess. Their approach to collaboration emphasized empathy, respect, and trust, teaching audiences and fellow musicians that music is not just about individual virtuosity, but about creating a cohesive, resonant experience. Ritenour often cites instances where East's melodic insight transformed a piece, turning a competent performance into a moment of emotional resonance. It is this interplay between skill and sensitivity that has defined their lasting legacy. Ritenour also acknowledges that their work has inspired generations of bassists, guitarists, and jazz ensembles. The fluidity of their interactions, the subtlety of their improvisations, and the seamless blending of styles have become points of reference in contemporary jazz education. Many students and emerging musicians study recordings of Fourplay to understand the nuances of interplay and the art of listening as much as playing. Even as they pursue individual projects, the shadow of their collaborative influence remains. Ritenour notes that East's contributions to countless recordings, tours, and live performances have subtly shaped the sound of modern jazz, with echoes of their chemistry detectable in recordings across genres. At 85, Ritenour reflects not only on the music they created together, but on the profound impact their partnership has had on the art form. It is a legacy built on skill, intuition, and a deep, unspoken understanding, a testament to the enduring power of collaboration in music. Looking ahead, future collaborations. Even at 85, Lee Ritenour shows no signs of slowing down. While reflecting on his decades-long partnership with Nathan East, he also hints at future possibilities, leaving fans and critics buzzing with anticipation. Ritenour describes a vision for a project that would reunite him and East, one that bridges the wealth of experience they've accumulated with the fresh perspectives of their ongoing musical journeys. Though details remain scarce, the promise of new collaboration is both exciting and revealing, underscoring the enduring vitality of their bond. Ritenour emphasizes that any future endeavor with East would go beyond nostalgia. He envisions compositions that reflect their shared history while embracing innovation, blending elements of contemporary jazz, fusion, and even unexpected genre influences. The intention is not merely to recreate the magic of past Fourplay recordings, but to explore uncharted territory, challenging themselves and their listeners alike. This forward-looking approach highlights Ritenour's relentless curiosity and his belief that musical dialogue should evolve, not stagnate. The possibility of new collaborations also shines a light on the personal respect that has endured between them. Ritenour remarks on the ease of working with East, noting that their long-term familiarity allows for a fluid creative process where ideas flow organically. There is no tension, no hierarchy, just two seasoned musicians responding to each other in real time, a dynamic honed over decades. Speculation within the jazz community is already rampant. Fans hope for recordings that capture the full depth of their unspoken communication, while younger musicians look forward to lessons from watching two masters improvise and interact. Ritenour's willingness to discuss these future plans openly reflects a confidence that their musical chemistry can still produce groundbreaking work. Ultimately, this chapter of Ritenour's story reminds us that true artistic partnerships endure, evolve, and continue to inspire, proving that age is no barrier to creativity, collaboration, or the pursuit of musical excellence. Reflections on a lifetime of collaboration. As Lee Ritenour reflects on his decades-long career at 85, his thoughts consistently return to his partnership with Nathan East. For him, the story of their collaboration is more than the music they created. It is a testament to the enduring power of trust, respect, and human connection. Ritenour admits that while technical skill and stage presence are vital, it was the emotional and intuitive bond with East that elevated their performances to a level few artists achieve. Looking back, Ritenour recalls countless studio sessions, tours, and improvisational moments where their silent communication defined the outcome. In those instances, words were unnecessary. The music itself conveyed understanding, emotion, and vision. He emphasizes that such synergy is rare and it cannot be forced. It is cultivated over years of shared experience, patience, and a willingness to listen deeply. Their connection illustrates how collaboration in art can transcend conventional definitions, creating moments that resonate far beyond the immediate audience. Ritenour also reflects on the personal lessons he learned from working with East. Beyond musicianship, their partnership was built on empathy, humility, and support. Challenges, conflicts, and pressures were navigated with a focus on collective excellence rather than individual ego. For Ritenour, this approach shaped his philosophy not only as a musician, but as a human being, emphasizing the importance of respect, patience, and mutual encouragement in all forms of collaboration. Ultimately, Ritenour's reflections offer a rare glimpse into the human side of professional artistry. His candidness reveals that the legacy of his work with Nathan East is not measured solely by albums or accolades, but by the depth of connection, trust, and unspoken understanding that endured for decades. It is a reminder that the greatest partnerships in music and life are forged as much by shared humanity as by talent. Outro. Lee Ritenour's reflections on Nathan East reveal a partnership built on trust, intuition, and decades of shared artistry. Their story reminds us that the deepest collaborations transcend notes and techniques, thriving instead on human connection. Subscribe, share, and reflect on the enduring power of music and friendship.